Stacey, Debbie is the next question. He asks, do you think that if Williams continues to pitch well, that he might be an alternate closer when Weaver has closed several games in a row? Would be great to have two reliable closers, especially in times with many games and no off days. Of course, this still depends on Williams' performances, or does he stay an eighth inning pitcher regardless?
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsulias. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. With me, as usual, my co-host, Brian McKeon. Brian, did that series go the way you thought it was going to go?
And not exactly, no, but take him where you get him, right?
Yep. Before we get started, don't forget, subscribe to Locked On Yankees on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like our videos, hit the bell so you're notified whenever our videos go live. On today's show, we will be quickly previewing the series in Colorado coming up later tonight. It's Fan Mail Friday. We'll be answering all your burning questions about the Yankees. But first, the Yankees sweep the Rangers out of Yankee Stadium. When you saw the Mets and Rangers back-to-back on the schedule, were you thinking 5 out of 6?
No, I was thinking give me 500 and I'll be happy. Unbelievable how good. The Rangers offense admittedly is struggling, but to be able to get a sweep out of them is unexpected to say the least, especially where we discussed earlier in the week, the pitching rotation they were going to have to face with the Rangers coming in. I don't know how they got the sweep here, but, fortunate, lucky, and what a performance out of Carlos Rodón.
Yes, Rodón has stepped it up a lot lately. I joked with Bryce of Locked On Rangers. I did a crossover episode for him on Thursday, joking about how much better Rodón is pitching with a beard.
Yeah, no, but it's not a joke anymore. I mean, he has legitimately been better. It might actually be a confidence thing. I don't know how much credence I want to give that, but I mean, it might just be a feel thing. Like, he just feels like a better pitcher with the beard on. I don't know what it is,
or feels more like himself with the beard.
It's got to be something akin to that, because he's been back to his, like, Carlos Rodón on the San Francisco Giants. Good. I mean, that he's Cy Young Carlos Rodón right now. Listen to this stat. In his last 7 starts, he's got 42 and 2/3 innings pitched, only 23 hits in the 42 innings. Stats including 7 earned runs, 14 walks, 52 strikeouts in the 42 innings pitched, a 1.48 ERA. They have the 2 best pitchers in the American League right now at the top of the rotation. It is crazy how good they've both been.
Yeah. Yankees did what they normally do against Eovaldi, not that much, but Jorbit Bibas, line drive home run. Sometimes that's all you need. And you talked about how this team is proving that they can be the type to win close games. You can't get much closer than 1-0.
No, but those are the games you got to win late in the season, playoff type games, right? Like, you're not going to score a lot of runs in playoff games. You got to be able to prove you can win these kind of games. So unbelievable. And we've mentioned it a lot, but let's just give one quick mention. Luke Weaver. I mean, does it get any? There was some skepticism of whether or not they use him, just because they don't like using guys 3 days in a row, that kind of stuff. But I mean, he didn't have a lot of pitches in the last 2 games, so it was. You thought that they could lose him a 3rd day in a row, but he was electric again. And the first time a Yankee closer has had 3 straight days of saves since, I think, 2019 of Aroldis Chapman. It's been a while.
I have numbers for you. So 3 games
please.
He appeared in the series. He pitched 2 1/3 innings, got 2 saves, 1 win, and he only threw 18 total pitches in those 3 appearances.
Spotting the ball great. Location has been an electric, really.
Oh, and his ERA is down to 0.40.
He's going to be an all-star.
Yeah,
definitely. He's that good. He's going to be an all-star.
Definitely. All right. So as you guys know, it's Friday. It's Fan Mail Friday, and we start with the insiders every week, and we start with Betty every week, and she asks, do you think Hamilton is pitching his way off the team? When he does throw strikes, he can't seem to locate them well. Or maybe it's time for Cole to work with him. Speaking of Cole, I want to go on record as saying he should remain a Yankee forever. When it's time to leave the mound, he will be the perfect addition to the coaching staff.
I agree with Betty. It almost seems like she saw our show yesterday while writing this question, or she wrote it while listening to the show yesterday.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't know if I'd move on from Ian Hamilton yet. It feels like he's going through a little bit of something right now, but I wouldn't call it a move on from him situation as of yet. Right. Also, I would note too, Matt Blake has a really good track record of getting guys back on track while they're struggling. So I'd look to that too. I'd give a little more time for Hamilton to figure things out. Yeah. Stacey, Debbie is the next question. He asks, do you think that if Williams continues to pitch well, that he might be an alternate closer when Weaver has closed several games in a row? Would be great to have two reliable closers, especially in times with many games and no off days. Of course, this still depends on Williams' performances, or does he stay an eighth inning pitcher regardless? Thanks for taking my questions and for this podcast and a fun being an insider.
I don't know. I feel bad in a way for Devin Williams because Luke Weaver is just doing so well that I don't see him supplanting him yet. And even if Weaver pitches a few games, I would think that Williams would more than likely be pitching the same games as Weaver, and he'd be the guy who's the bridge to Weaver. So I don't see them doing an alternate thing. I think they work in tandem instead of alternate.
They're going to want to use both guys to ping pong off each other in a sense, where you want to have that death row at the end of a game where eighth inning you got to see Devin Williams and you got to see Luke Weaver. It's kind of impossible to deal with if you're an opposing team. So I think that's the goal they want to go forward with. Also, these guys are creatures of habit. They like to be in routine. They like to be doing the same thing over and over again. I don't think it helps these elite arms to be going one game, 7 innings, then the 8th inning, then the 9th inning, and switching back and forth. They want to know when they're pitching. So I think if Weaver ever struggles and they pull him out of the closer role, it'll be Devin Williams' spot for sure. But right now, Luke Weaver has seized his opportunity. He's been given one. He took it. And, Devin Williams, I hate to say it, shouldn't have pitched as bad as he did to start the year off. That's sports, though. That's how it happens. So as long as he's still willing to contribute to this team, there's going to be a spot for him. And listen, he's pitched really well, really, since. So got to give it to him, too. He's pitched really well as well.
Yeah. Thank you for the question, Debbie. And it is fun being an insider, isn't it? Tell everyone about that. Yeah. The next question is from Shalid. He asks, do you feel all this Soto drama is being taken out of proportion? Isn't there such a thing as growing pains? I get the amount of money the Mets are paying him, but putting that aside, for example, if you told me Rodón would be pitching the way he is now last year, I wouldn't have believed you. Now, I'm going to give the floor to you because I gave my feelings about Soto on the show the other day when you weren't here. So the floor is yours.
First of all, on your Rodón comment, I would have believed you because Rodón's got a track record. He's been this good before with other teams. So I could see him picking it up with the Yankees and being this good. So it makes sense to me. The Soto stuff, no, I don't really have a lot of sympathy, to be quite honest with you. The man took more money. He took the most money. And that's what he wanted to be. And you know what? I'll go to a Spider-Man quote right here. I'm going to screw up the quote because I knew I had it. With great power comes great responsibility, or I guess for Soto's sake, with great financial power comes great responsibility. All right. He took the money because he wanted to be the star in Queens. He wanted it to be his team. He wanted to be the guy that was on the back page of the paper when they win their World Series. And he wanted all that to be his glory that came to him because he didn't want to share the spotlight with Aaron Judge. Well, guess what, buddy? That comes with all the pressure being on you. That comes with when the Mets struggle. It's on you when the Mets struggle. Okay. When you're down and you're not playing well and the team's not playing well too, you're going to get the blunt of the pressure. You're going to get everything handed to you. Just like when the Yankees struggle, when the Yankees lose a World Series, it falls on Aaron Judge. Listen, none of the Yankees hit in that World Series. None of them played particularly well. Who do we all talk about when we talk about the Yankees losing that World Series? Aaron Judge. That's the drop pop fly. He can't hit in the postseason. It's all Aaron Judge's fault, right? That's what comes when you don't play well. So he wanted the most money. He wanted it to be his team. He wanted to get the highest paid contract ever. He took it. There you go. Also, on the family stuff with Juan Soto, I hate to be this guy because I love my family, and my family 100% gets, say in big decisions I make career-wise. The people that matter the most to me, the people that I'm closest to in the world, my best friends, my mother, my sister, my girlfriend, all those people get input when I make a big decision. But at the end of the day, the big decision is made by me. If I'm going to change careers, jobs, whatever, that decision is made by me. And Juan Soto is the same age as me, and he's also a big boy. So he can make those decisions too. If his whole family wanted him to be a Met, but he was dying to be a Yankee. You should have went to the Yankees, man. All right, $700 million was enough for you to live with for the rest of your life. I don't think you could have blew through that money. You would have survived. And you know what? Your family would have been just as happy with you making $700 million as a Yankee. They would have gotten over it. So I don't want to hear that he went to the Mets because of his family and he wanted the suite and he loves Steve Cohen and Alex Cohen. I don't want to hear it. I don't have sympathy for a guy making the money that he's making in the stature that he's got when it's his team in Queens. I don't care, quite frankly. And that might sound cruel to you and that might sound crass, and I'm sorry. He wanted the biggest contract. He got it. He signed it. Now it's on you, buddy. Figure it out. That's how I'm hard to have sympathy here.
Yep. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notifications so you know when our videos go up. You can also join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. Like Debbie said, it's a lot of fun. The link is in the description. You'll get text from us. You can text us questions, comments, reactions to trades and signings. We send out the lineups during the season, roster moves, breaking news, so you don't have to check social media. There's a 14-day free trial. Coming up, more Fan Mail Friday questions from our listeners next.
The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night is delivering highlight-worthy performances. You can say that again. There's major momentum shifts, oh yeah, and there's can't-miss moments. Some would disagree. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there has never been a better time to get in on all the action. And FanDuel makes it easy to stay in on the game before the tip-off and live. They got player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays. Fans have never had more ways to play in the game, and you can win smart and win big. Now, last night's game was devastating for the New York Knicks. If you're a New York Knicks fan, I'm sorry. It was a hard Thursday to get through, but we got through it, and now we look forward to the rest of the series where the Knicks are now underdogs. So you want to make a little money, you can find that on FanDuel and get them at plus money. Are you new to FanDuel? Well, guess what? It's the perfect time to sign up. You can head over to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. Now, if that bet wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel. It's an official sports betting partner of the NBA.
So we have a new way for you to submit questions on YouTube. If you go to our page and you click on the post tab all the way at the end and you scroll down, you'll see where I say, the deadline is such and such. This past week, it was Thursday at 5. Who knows what it'll be next week, but you look for it there.
So, Stacey, we continue here with our insider questions. This one comes from Eric S., and he asks, if the Yankees make a trade at the deadline, who are the untouchables from our farm system?
I don't think there are any.
I'd agree with you. And I'd say this. I think to the Yankees, probably Spencer Jones is still untouchable unless it's for the right piece. It's got to be a great trade prospect to make to get them to move him. I will say this. Even if there are untouchables to some of you out there that listen to the show, I know some of you are really involved with the farm system and think there are some untouchables in the farm system. And we certainly respect your opinion too. If the Pirates were somehow inspired by the Jeff Passan, Paul Skeens stuff when he spoke publicly about that, and they want to move him, there should be no untouchable pretty much in the Yankee farm system or Yankee Major League system for Paul Skeens.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Next question from Adam C. We're 2 months into the season. How are the Yankees doing considering the injuries to key players such as Cole, Stanton, and others? Are we overjoyed with how Bellinger and Goldschmidt are fitting in and producing? I would say yes, because, Goldschmidt's been producing the whole time. He still hasn't slowed down yet. Like, it's just unbelievable what is happening right now with him. And then Bellinger is doing what we thought Bellinger was going to do. He had a little bit of a rough April, and now he's Cody Bellinger. And now when you see him come to bat, you don't cringe. You think, hey, Cody Bellinger's up. Maybe he'll hit a ball out of the park.
Yeah, he's been electric. I mean, he's been so good, and he's really returned to form of what he normally is. And that is key because you gotta listen. It hasn't proved itself yet, but at a certain point, you gotta think Paul Goldschmidt's going to slow down. I mean, he's up there in age. Just for him to play at this level consistently is wild. And how he's done it to this point, I don't even know. I will say, Stanton, we haven't heard a lot of news in recent times of his progress. Hopefully, it's soon. But overall, with the way that spring training was ending, I think the Yankees feel pretty fortunate with the way their injuries have gone so far.
I actually gave an update about Stanton the other day. It looks like he could be back. They're saying end of May, early June. We're almost in the end of May. So
they're not showing any updates on him. It's very odd.
Yeah, because with him, he doesn't need to go to Somerset and rehab.
Yeah.
He just shows up because he doesn't play a position. So
the benefits of being a DH, I guess.
Yeah.
The next question comes from David F. He says the Yankees have been fortunate to have great right fielders over the years. The emergence of Aaron Judge has added to that tradition. How would you guys rank the top 5? I have Ruth, Jackson, Judge, Winfield, and O'Neill.
Interesting.
I mean, Judge is definitely in there. I mean,
yeah.
He's got to be at this point. I have sometimes a little bit of trouble with this. This sounds crazy to some old Yankee fans, but hear me out. With putting Reggie Jackson in those all-time great Yankee conversations, Reggie Jackson was here for a cup of coffee. I know he did have the legendary moments in the Reggie bar, and you remember him as this great player that was here. He wasn't with the Yankees for that long.
No.
It was the great World Series performance and helped them win a World Series. Absolutely. I'm not discouraging that. But when we act like Reggie Jackson is in the same pantheon as Ruth and Judge, and he's really not, to be honest with you. I don't even think he's in Paul O'Neill's status, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, right? Because Paul O'Neill was here longer than Reggie Jackson was.
and longevity, the spot in the lineup that Paul O'Neill held for so long, and the starts, the seasons that he had and everything. I mean, and Paul O'Neill was there through all the champion. I mean, I don't know. Listen, I certainly think Reggie Jackson deserves his place in Yankee history, but when people talk about him in the lore of those other guys, I mean, he's also thought of as a really great Oakland Athletic too. Right. So it just the Reggie Jackson. I don't even think Reggie Jackson's number should be retired, to be quite honest with you. It is, but I don't even agree with that decision. So that one I wouldn't add there. I don't know who I necessarily replace it with, but yeah, they've had some great right fielders for sure.
Our next question comes from insider Matt V. Looking towards the trade deadline, would the Marlins sell low on Alcantara? Do you think the Diamondbacks would make Zach Gallen available?
No and no.
Yeah.
If you're the Marlins, you wait for Alcantara to figure things out and then you move him. All consensus looks like they're going to move him at some point. You don't move him now. You let him figure things out, and then you dump that piece off to get the highest value possible. And Zach Gallen, the Diamondbacks are 26-24. They're 5 games back, but they're all tied in with the rest of the teams in that division. No, you don't move Zach Gallen at all, because that's the only chance you have of competing is having that great pitching staff. So I don't think there's going to be a lot of movement when it comes to pitchers. The Yankees better be really fortunate that they have the pitching performances they've gotten. And I'll say this, Stacey, because this is going to be a valuable point too. If they believe that Will Warren is as good as Will Warren is, there might be a scenario where the Yankees move a pitcher and sell one of the pitchers on their rotation, as opposed to buying, because with there being a small market and a low market out there for starting pitchers, someone's going to be willing to pay a desperately high amount for a starter. So the Yankees have a surplus of that, and they believe Will Warren is an elite piece coming up. Luis Heel might get a lot of pieces back in the trade market. Just throwing that out there, but we'll discuss that at a later time.
That'd be interesting.
For sure. And the last question of no, that's not true. This question comes from Lauren, who is a Fan Mail Friday insider. If the team got to wear one of the retired Yankee jersey numbers for a celebration game, which one would you want to see them in?
I mean, there's so many to choose from.
Yeah, I mean, that's not really their thing overall. I'd like to see a number 2 out there again, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one in a while, and that brings back nostalgia for me, at least.
I know. Alvaro Espinosa was really great. Just kidding. Just kidding. Yeah, I would like to see the 2 back. That would be cool. I mean, there are no single numbers left, right?
Nope.
They're all gone.
I don't think they're gone. I don't think they're gonna ever do something like this, to be honest with you, though.
No.
Can't picture them doing something like this.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Okay, our last question of the segment, and our first question from YouTube comes from Jonathan Morales, 1645. Tigers looking like a favorite in the AL this year so far. Yankees lost their series against them early in the season. Clash between them in the postseason. Thoughts?
Would be tough. They're a good team. I give the Yankees an edge just because the Tigers are battle tested for sure from last year's postseason, but the Yankees have a little bit more experience when it comes to that. Plus, I think the Yankees sort of do match them pitching-wise. If Fried keeps pitching like this or Rodón keeps pitching like this, it matches up really well against Skubal. I would love to see, though, the Gleyber Torres and I guess the Javi Baez mashup going on, because I don't know if you realized, Javi Baez, after looking completely lost the last couple of years, is all of a sudden a player again.
Yeah.
And has been really good this year. So that Detroit team is interesting and young. I give the Yankees a slight edge from experience, but that would be a really tough series.
Yeah, I agree with that. Even with the whole AL Central thing that tends to happen to the AL Central, it would be a tougher series.
Them I'm fine with. Like them, I don't make fun of. But wake me up when the Twins or the Guardians beat the Yankees in an important series. I mean seriously, because I don't remember it happening. I don't.
It's been a while for Cleveland, but they used to beat up on the Yankees a lot in the playoffs.
Yeah, but it's been a while since
I got tortured many times by Cleveland. All right, coming up, more Fan Mail Friday questions from YouTube and a quick preview of the series, which begins tonight in Colorado.
All right, Stacey, to finish things off for the final show of the week, let's go to Jason Sanchez, 55. He asks, if Rodón and Warren continue to pitch well, do you think the Yankees will still look for another starting pitcher? They have an ace with Fried and potential for Heel to be dominant upon his return.
I don't know.
I don't think they're going to be in on a starting pitcher.
I
don't know who's going to be available. That's the only thing. Like, there's no one out there that's going to be moved. I don't see it.
And I think even if Warren isn't as good as he was the other night, but he's somewhere in between the other night and where he was at the beginning of the season, that's perfectly fine for someone at the end of the rotation. You don't need him to be Max Fried. You need Max Fried to be Max Fried, and you need Carlos Rodón to continue what he's doing. You need Clark Schmidt to continue what he's doing. But the rotation, when you think about it, we spoke about this the other day. Without Garrett Cole and Luis Heel, right now, the way they've been pitching the last week, they're one of the better rotations in the league at the moment.
Yeah, no, you're not kidding. I mean, they've been that good. And again, I think there is potential too with the lack of starting pitchers available out there, and the teams that are going to need one, they could look to move one of their pitchers. They really could. The return that it would get, because teams get more desperate. The more teams out there are going to need pitchers, and the less that are available on the market, is the more teams are going to be willing up to give you. There's only a few teams that I would say are just on the no trade list that the Yankees want to negotiate with. One of them is the LA Dodgers that you just don't talk to because you don't want to make them better. But what if a team that's kind of middling, isn't sure they're going to get in, but trying to get in? What if the Diamondbacks call you up and offer you up two of their best prospects for Luis Heel? When you know Luis Heel is not going to be pitching a Game 7 for you anyway, right? You already know you have Fried and Rodón, and you really believe in Will Warren, and you're going to have Garrett Cole coming back next year. What if they offer you a crazy amount? And there can be many teams. The Padres have been known over the years to make some pretty dumb trades when they're desperate for someone. What if they give you a lot for Luis Heel because they think they're a starter away from winning the division? That could be a possibility coming up here. So I think the Yankees, to be honest with you, right now, there's more of a chance the Yankees move someone rather than acquire someone. As crazy as that might sound, there's a better chance they move one of their pitchers than they acquire one of their pitchers.
I agree. Next up, Colin Martin 7783. If Stanton were to come back to the Yankees today, who would you cut from the roster / move down to make room if Escara? Is Ben Rice really suitable? Is a really suitable option for backup catcher?
Yeah, that's one of those that I'd love to give you an answer for, Stacey. I just, they seem to love what they're getting out of Escara. They play him. And by the way, this Rodón stuff with how good he's been with Rodón lately too is the better Escara plays, the more it keeps him in the lineup. It does. I think they're going to carry three catchers. I do, and I think they're going to find a way to get Ben Rice in the lineup. He's earned that right, but I think they're going to carry three catchers.
Yeah, I think there are other guys that you can move down that have nothing to do with the catching position, maybe, that you can move instead, because you can't have Ben Rice not play. You can't. It would be absolutely silly to not have Ben Rice. Yeah,
have no option at this point. I'm a little scared of what they do because I feel like if Stanton comes back, he's going to need reps, and they're going to probably hold that against him because Ben Rice is playing so well. Because you know what, though? Stanton's done it to himself by being unusable anywhere else. He's only a DH.
Right.
So, I mean, you have to figure things out for the Yankees. Casey Cotreau, 7050, says, is there a particular series you guys are looking forward to in the near future?
I guess the Dodgers. I guess.
Yeah, that's the easy answer. I'm going to say Colorado because I want to see the Yankees score a ton of runs. And I want to see how far Ben Rice can hit a ball in Colorado.
Yeah. Forget Aaron Judge. We know he could hit the ball 500 feet if he wants to, but to see Ben Rice do it, and even Jason Dominguez, he has some pop too. It would be
especially
interesting
lately.
to see that.
Especially lately, yeah. Second Decker for the walk-off the other night.
Yeah.
So.
And our final question of Fan Mail Friday, Kevin Bonos. Not sure if it's too soon to talk about this, but what are some of the key pieces you think the Yankees will look into for the trade deadline this year? I know starting pitching would be amazing, but what about a solid starting third baseman or bullpen help? With the bullpen, they have options in-house already.
Yeah.
People who are working their way back from injury. You have Jonathan Loaizaga came back. Jake Cousins, he had to be put on the shelf for a few days, but he's going to be pitching again soon. You have, who's the other guy? There's another guy who's coming back. But I'm not worried about the bullpen. I don't think the Yankees need a bullpen piece. I
think they have surplus there, to be honest with you. I think they have a little bit of excess.
I think Ryan Yarbrough could be in the bullpen.
Well, that's the plan. Ryan Yarbrough only gets starts when they have a lack of an off day and they need to squeeze him in. Yeah. He's not a part of the full-time rotation right now.
He could be a long reliever. He could really help the Yankees out a lot. So I don't think bullpen. I really don't think starting pitching either, because even with all the injuries that they have guys stepping up right now. And because then you also have Yarbrough who could step in if you need him to. So
they're going to be in the third base market for sure, though. They're going to have to be, and they're going to explore who's available. I don't know if Arenado's the guy. I do think the more and more the Cardinals get desperate, but they're playing well, so I don't know if they're going to need to move him at a certain point either. But I think they'll be in the market for a third baseman, even if it's somebody that they kind of platoon in there just to kind of see what they can give him, like a Brandon Drury type. Not him, but when they tried to add him a few years ago. There's going to be a third baseman head. There almost has to be a third baseman head at this point. They can't go forward with what they're going forward with.
Yeah. Speaking of Arenado, let's talk about his former team from a while ago, the Yankees.
One of the craziest trades ever, by the way. Can we just say that before we even get into it? Can we just acknowledge, they gave him a $240 million contract and then moved him 3 years later in the middle of MVP years for not a single guy that ever made the major leagues.
Crazy.
And then they ate a lot of the money. Mind-boggling.
Yeah. So this series, on paper, you would think the Yankees have the advantage, and they should, because the Rockies are abysmal. They're abysmal. Now, Friday night, as we're recording this, the Rockies don't have a starter. TBD is starting, and we know all about him.
He's struggled for them this year.
Yeah, he's going up against Clark Schmidt. Clark Schmidt's 1-1 with a 4.41 ERA, and that start is 8:40 tonight. Everyone, just so you know. On Saturday,
rough spot because that's also a 5:40 start in Colorado.
Yeah, the sun will be
really rough. Really rough spot for them. Time-wise, especially too with the jet lag and stuff. That's not easy at all. That's the only game I think they have a chance of losing in this series, or they'd have an excuse for losing in this series, I'll say.
Yeah, but is there an excuse? No, because the Rockies haven't even won 10 games yet. So
are they going to be worse than the White Sox last year?
I think so. I think it's possible.
They're abysmal. They're so bad.
They're really, really bad. They're breaking records that haven't been broken since the 1800s. When you're doing that, it's bad.
So generally in baseball games, when it comes from the gambling perspective, a team, if they're a huge favorite, they're favored by a 1.5 on the run line. Usually it's a half a run, but generally 1.5 is what you'll see. Today they were an underdog by 3.5 runs. 3.5 runs. I mean, think about how to the Phillies who killed them this series. The Phillies, by the way, won the game 2-0, so that shows you what gambling, how easy gambling is. But 3.5 run underdog is the craziest thing anyone's ever seen. They're all-time bad. They're so awful.
Yikes. Saturday, 4:10 start. Max Fried, who's 6-0 with a 1.29 ERA, going up against Kyle Freeland, who's 0-6 with a 5.68 ERA.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. I don't know who it's going to be fun for, but that's not great. And then on Sunday, a 3:10 start. Will Warren, 3-2 with a 4.05 ERA against Antonio Senzatella.
Yep, Senzatella.
Who's 1-8 with a 6 point what? What?
Just 1-8. Like he's one. We're in mid-May. So you know what's crazy too is they let him pitch long enough to get a decision. It's like, he's never out of a game early. He goes long enough to get a decision. He's 1-8, and we're in mid-May. That's insane.
Yeah, that's really well. I mean, Freeland's 0-6.
Crazy. They're so bad.
Yeah, and Zenzatella's ERA is 6.34. So even worse than Kyle Freeland. So if the Yankees don't hit in this series, I will be so angry. But I mean, how can you not? These guys just can't do anything. It's awful. I feel bad for them. You know who I feel bad for? I feel bad for Paul from Locked On Rockies because he has to talk about this team every day.
Awful. Let's look at these stats real quick. Just we'll go over the Sunday game because of how good Warren's been, and I'm really intrigued to see how many he can strike out potentially in Colorado. But let's just look at this real quick, Stacey, right? Will Warren's pitched 46.2 innings. Senzatella's got 49.2 innings. So just roughly the same amount of innings, right? Listen to this, though. Will Warren, who, by the way, up until the last 3 starts, Will Warren was kind of iffy. Are they going to send him back down? Like, how has he been this season? We didn't really know, right? With how iffy he's been, in 46 and 2 innings pitched, he's given up 42 hits and has 60 strikeouts. Senzatella, in just about the same amount of time, has given up 84 hits and only has 25 strikeouts. Think about how bad that is. So he strikes out nobody because Warren's got almost 40 more strikeouts than Senzatella has in the same amount of innings, and Senzatella has doubled him in hits allowed. So incredibly bad. I can't wait to watch this series. I hope the Yankees mash. I really do.
They better.
Yeah.
I don't want to make weird things happen.
I hate being that way, but you got to sweep them.
Yeah, no, you have to. All right. Well, thank you guys for making this Fan Mail Friday chock full of questions. A lot of questions from our insiders, a lot of questions from YouTube. So thank you very much for that. And thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. You can find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. So that'll do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon, and we'll catch you guys next week.